Man, y'all know what time it is. T-Law got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go in that field.
Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
They made a major mistake when they made T-Law go to the spirit of the sky, to the oracle of the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger now held the scepter in his hand, and he been to put every critic to rest. Man, last night I done marinated 2 turkeys. I got my cherry wood getting ready for my smoker. Just got off from work, off Pritchard Road. I'm going to bake me 2 Cornish hens. My special recipe, I call it a Mediterranean Cornish hen. I'm going to top it off with my homemade Long Island iced tea. And I'm only going to top it off with 1 red top of Coca-Cola. The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody, and a hearty Duval to all y'all.
Y'all?
Inside of 4 weeks, Tommy,
Yeah,
till
man.
the draft. Why
Heck
not?
yeah.
We haven't
Damn
thrown
right.
out any good Duvals lately.
Duval! There you go.
Come on.
Get
go.
the pipes going.
All right, we're ready. We'll see you Monday. Thank you very much. Thanks
Hope
for
you have a
tuning
great
in.
weekend.
Tony Smith, greetings. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
You look like you're a member of the Braves broadcast crew.
I do.
That shirt has a broadcast crew feel to it.
It kind of does. Yeah.
Like a spring training broadcast
Yeah.
crew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's funny, Dylan, when I was walking by him this morning, he stopped for a second. And he's like, "That's not an Alabama shirt." I'm like, "No, it's not."
No. Oh, I didn't even think for a
thought that.
second that
For
was.
a second, I
Yeah.
did.
The A with Alabama and Atlanta is a little bit different. But
Yeah. All right.
How about the A in Angels? Could it be an Angels shirt?
No.
Are there
Angels
such a
have
the
the
halo.
halo. Yeah.
They still, they got
On
the
that-
halo
that
around it.
A, yeah.
Right. Hence the
Los
name.
Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Remember when they went that route for a while?
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
What is it? Wear your favorite baseball T-shirt to the show?
Only if
today?
you're
baseball
undefeated. I don't know what Tony's doing, but mine's undefeated, baby. Got that
1-0, baby.
1-0. That's right. You
right.
can't go
Rock and
162-0 without getting the first one,
Oh,
Tom.
jeez.
Okay?
Yeah.
Simmer down. Never been done before.
Did
But
the Cubs win?
don't know.
They
I
did. The Cubs won last night. They
All
lost their
right.
first 2 over in
Cubs
Japan.
win.
Oh, Japan, right.
Yeah.
They were in Japan.
So they were 0-2, so they got their first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
They play in the Tokyo Dome?
I believe
know.
they did.
That's where I played in that dome once.
Did you?
Yeah, the Saints. We played Philadelphia over there when I tried out for the Saints.
Give me a highlight. What did you do?
I had a lot of tackles, actually,
Did
because
you?
the starter got hurt, and I got to play quite a bit. It was Monday Night Football against Philly. I hated the trip. It was awful. I had no money. It was really expensive. Think about sitting in the back, literally the back seat of a big old plane for 15 hours with nothing to do and no electronics. And
Are you
nothing.
a good plane sleeper?
taking off, I normally can fall asleep, but not for 15 hours. So
Yeah, well, not for 15 hours.
So it was. We saw some sights. Ate a couple insects or something, and
Is that what you did?
I'll tell you a highlight. You want a highlight?
Yes.
It's a great story. All right. So we had a linebacker, the Saints did. He was a backup. Really good player. Came out of Vandy, I think. Demond Winston. Do you remember that name at all? He was a big linebacker. Anyway, he wasn't the friendliest of guys to the rookies. He's kind of one of those guys, whatever. So, whatever. So we're doing a punt block drill, a live punt block drill against Philadelphia. In this park. It was really weird. Traffic all around, but it was in the middle of this park.
Okay.
And Demond lines up over the center, so he's the fifth one in. I'm watching. I'm actually watching with two of my roommates from BC who are trying out for Philly, and we're all watching. Well, the up back is Herschel Walker, and Demond's the free blitzer, rusher, and Herschel dipped down, picked him up under. I'm not kidding. This guy was like 255 pounds. Picked him up under his pads, picked him up, and slammed his back into the ground. And we were all like, holy, you know what? It was unbelievable. I've never seen a grown man get tossed like that in my life. And Herschel Walker did it like it was nothing. It was unbelievable.
You've probably interviewed Herschel Walker over the years. Did you ever at a Super Bowl or two? Like he'd be around from time to time.
He would be around. I don't recall ever interviewing Herschel.
He is not as big as you think. In my mind's eye at Georgia, the guy was like 800 pounds. You know, he was just so square.
He's like 225.
Yeah, but I mean, when you see him in person, you're like, at least that was my impression.
Man, he looked good in pads.
Obviously, he was phenomenal.
He looked good that day. Holy cow!
He's one of the NFL's all-time leading all-purpose yardage guys.
Yeah,
because he did a lot of kickoff returns.
Yeah.
In addition to everything else.
He was special even up in Illinois. I mean, when he was in college. You know what I mean? I mean, he was. All those running backs were just awesome. Herschel. When I was living in Illinois.
Oh, when you were in Illinois.
I'm way up in Illinois. I mean, we love
Herschel. What are we talking about here?
We love Herschel. You know what I'm saying? Like it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Herschel was the man.
Billy Sims from Texas. He was awesome.
Billy Sims is the best guy jumping over the line of scrimmage that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
doing that he jackknife his body over the line of scrimmage and go flying over, man. Yep. Old school for the kids. That was early 80s for Billy Sims.
That's right. Great lion.
Yeah, Dylan's like, 80s? Is that a decade?
Yeah, Marcus Dupree, he was awesome.
Marcus Dupree lived in Jax for a long time. Yeah. I don't know if he still does. He was like a trucker.
Really?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
He lived in Jacksonville for a good long time.
College ball was great.
Did we ever have Marcus Dupree on? I feel like we tried to have him on. I think we might have had him on.
Sounds like we...
I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm going back to like when we were in the old building across the street.
Yeah.
I seem to recall that. Anyway. Great documentary on Marcus Dupree.
I haven't seen it, but I remember when he
got hurt so many times. I mean, he was a guy that, like, truly, if ever a freshman could have played in the NFL, this guy was a fully developed specimen of a man.
His legs were thick as, and
he was huge. He could run. He was fast as could be, and he had, I think, a series of knee injuries.
Yeah, he had some.
Played in the USFL for a while. All that stuff. Anyway, so today. Obviously, we'll be on the Jaguar front. We got Demetrius Harvey about 30 minutes away. We were talking yesterday, Tom. We did a poll on how you feel about Ashton Genty being the first pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars if it went down that way. So let's get your vote on this. It closed out. If the Jags were to select Ashton Genty, assuming Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are gone, maybe Mason Graham's there, okay? Your reaction would be great. The offense needs weapons. Okay, he's probably the best player available. C, come on, we need linemen. Or D, running back at 5 would be so dumb. What do you think about what best reflects your opinion for Ashton Genty ending up in Jacksonville?
That's a great question. I'd probably be on the okay if he's the best player available. I mean, look, there's two ways. Look, you could be like, okay, running backs. Really risky to take early, but what if he turns out to be another Freddie T or even a Maurice Jones-Drew? Like, what if
you knew you were getting Freddie T? Would you take Freddie T at 5?
Yeah,
nobody would. Of course you would, right?
Right. So in that regard,
if you knew you were getting Saquon, would you take? See, and this is the thing that ultimately leads me to say no. Right, Saquon in New York,
right.
Very good.
Right.
Saquon with a great offensive line. Right. Unbelievable.
Right.
We don't have that line
Well,
yet.
Here's the thing, and we do it every year. We all are fixated on the first pick, and I get it, but we got it. Those first 4 picks are going to be critical. So what if you did grab Genty, and then you grabbed an offensive lineman or a defense? You know what I mean? Sure. And then you filled out those first 4 or 5 picks.
Tackles all over the board.
Now, collectively, I'm down. This is great.
Running back at 5 would be so dumb, got 44% of the vote yesterday. That was the leading vote getter. Come on, we need linemen. Got about 23.5. Okay, best player available, which some people think he's literally the best player in the draft, but his positional value isn't great enough to take him that high. 19% that went that way. 13% say, great, the offense needs weapons. And I'm torn between the first and the fourth option. Ultimately, I'd probably pass because it is a deep running back class.
Yeah.
What have you. But with that in mind, with Demetrius doing that mock yesterday for the Jags, he had Genty going to the Jags with the 5th pick. He had Trey Amos, the corner out of Ole Miss, in the 2nd round at 36. So we decided we're looking at some other multiple round mock drafts that have been out there. So all these are either projections or close to projections. The reason I bring up close, the one mock Chris Trapasso did like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
He had Will Campbell, then he had the Jags packaging their next 3 picks to go up. So instead of going up and getting Derek Harmon, we looked, and he had Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State going at 35.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, all right, what if it was Campbell and Williams? Matt Miller had Mason Graham and Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU, in his mock this week. We put that combo in there. Just today, Josh Edwards over at CBS. The first time I think I've seen this, Tony, as Jalen Walker, the edge rusher out of Georgia, who I've really taken a liking to, but more as a trade back target. But he had him going to the Jags at 5 and then came back with Emeka Ibuka, the wide receiver out of Ohio State in round 2.
Right.
So we put those combinations, Graham and Taylor, Campbell and Williams, Walker and Ibuka, and Genti and Amos in our poll question today. And sorry for Demetrius, his pairing is getting the least traction so far. Doesn't mean it's wrong, though, by the way. So you can vote there if you'd like. You can be a part of the program today. We'll talk all things Jacksonville Jaguars with Tom McManus, Demetrius Harvey as well. We'll be along. You can get on board at 641-1010 on the phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat and post your thoughts there, or hit us up on social media today at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Meathead55, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Duval.
Denmark, big track meet this weekend?
Tomorrow we got Cheeseboro at First Coast High School.
Cheeseboro?
Yeah.
Is that like a Tampa school? What is?
No. That's she's from here. She ran in the Olympics.
Oh, Chandra Cheeseboro?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. I thought that you were naming a high school.
Yeah, like I was like, I've never heard that.
I'm not the only one. I'm like, we got Cheeseboro coming in. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, big matchup, I guess. I don't know. That sounds like a school down in Tampa. Yeah, I remember.
Like Hillsboro or something like that, but Cheeseboro.
Right, that's probably what I was thinking of. Hillsboro is probably what it was. But
we're thinking alike in front of me.
I remember her.
Yeah.
Vaguely. I wouldn't be able to tell you any great details back in the day. We used to know a lot more, I feel like, Olympic sprinters, you know?
After watching that sprint documentary, that's pretty cool. Noah Lyles and all that. Have you seen that on Netflix? Oh, that would be worth your time. So I'm following the sprinters around, the women and the men, as they get ready for the Olympics. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What's that, on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's called Sprint.
All right.
Have you seen it, No?
No, I have not.
Yeah,
No.
it's really good. It's really good.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's really, really fascinating.
All right. Well, you know the ways to interact with the program today. So, again, our question of the day, which pair of players would you be happiest with for the Jaguars with their first 2 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft? Keep it in mind, you still have 8 other selections to go after other positions, but defensive tackle Mason Graham and tight end Mason Taylor is one option. Offensive tackle Will Campbell and defensive tackle Tyleik Williams is another option. Edge rusher Jalen Walker and wide receiver Emeka Ibuka is an option. And running back Ashton Genti and cornerback Trey Amos is an option there as well. And again, you can still get other spots. You're not limited to those 2 picks, but to start your draft, what would you feel the happiest with through 36 picks in 2025? Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark here with you, talking Jags for the next 2 hours. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Look at that. Oh, look at how great he looks. Majestic, you know? I want to ride alongside him.
Join the Franchi Show for the drive. Saddle up every afternoon on 1010XL.
Top Dog Tavern is your gathering place for family and friends, offering something for everyone. Want a delicious meal served with a smile? We have you covered. Shareable appetizers, hot and crispy wings, juicy tavern burgers, fresh salads, plus a large craft beer selection. And there is nowhere better to watch all the big games than on our multiple TVs. Enjoy great food, cold drinks, and good times at Top Dog Tavern, located in Bartram Park off Old St. Augustine Road.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren here for Big Chief Tire. Tax season is the perfect time to invest in your vehicle. Use your refund to tackle overdue tire replacements, brake repairs, or routine maintenance. Big Chief Tire's skilled technicians ensure every dollar counts, keeping your car running strong. With 5 convenient locations around town, fair prices, and trusted expertise, they've got you covered. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
During the NFL offseason, 1010XL keeps the information engine turning. There we go. More. Roll through the offseason with AA Automotive on Richard Street. Family run since 1954.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com. Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. Dylan Denmark here with 1010XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to and should be yours. Online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, Tommy Mack in studio here with us. You grooving along there?
That's good tune.
Yeah, all right. Dad Bods, what's the...
tomorrow night.
Yeah?
Yeah, at the local down in Neptune Beach, out in Neptune Beach. Yeah.
Very cool.
7 o'clock, right on the patio. We'll be rocking.
Anything new in the place?
We're actually rehearsing today at 3. We haven't played together in like 7 weeks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we need a little rehearsal time for timing.
Maybe nothing new then in this.
No, I don't think there's anything new. But it's funny. I drive them nuts because I'll be working out and I'll hear a tune and I'll get into it. And then I'll share it to the group. I'm like, we should do this one. They don't even answer me anymore.
No, we got enough, Tommy. We don't have enough time to practice.
Exactly.
All right, Dad Bods at the local in Neptune Beach.
Yeah, right out on the patio. We were there in over the summer, so we're making a return trip.
Very cool.
Should be fun. Yeah.
All right, this caught my eye today as I was just going through some different NFL-related stuff. ESPN had a kind of a latest buzz, prospect rumors, pro day risers article. I love those articles, right? Yeah. Where they get like all their draft guys. They get Matt Miller, Field Yates. Is it John Reed? That just what I'm hearing about different prospects, stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, totally.
So anyway, let's see if this is the one here. No. Here we go. What are you hearing around the league and what the Giants will do at number 3, which obviously can have a big impact on what the Jaguars ultimately do? Matt Miller says, I'm hearing quarterback even after signing Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal. This is Miller talking. A scout told me, quote, New York, meaning the Giants, loving Shador is the worst kept secret in the league right now. And that by that line of thinking, if that's accurate, okay, we got Russell Wilson in place. Jameis Winston, they can cut Jameis Winston. Okay?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Be on the hook for $4 million. If somebody signs him, even if he gets league minimum, that's an offset. They'll end up owing him like $2.7 million. And that's cost of doing business sometimes. You know what I mean? And,
yeah, totally.
If they go that route. But if this is to be believed, there's no doubt Jameis Winston's going in the top 4.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, or top 3. It's either Cleveland
Sanders.
takes him.
Sanders.
What did I say?
Jameis Winston.
But
he went first, so you're not first.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Yes, Shador Sanders will go in the top 3 if this is accurate. Either Cleveland takes him ahead of the Giants move up, or they sit there and he falls to him.
That's interesting. It's always been a copycat kind of league. You got to wonder, does Shador remind them of Washington's QB?
Daniels?
Just the way he kind of plays his game. I'm not saying
I don't think they're at all alike.
No, not the way they move around and throw the ball.
Shador,
he's not as athletic, I know that, or fast.
He's not a runner.
Yeah.
Like, he can extend the play.
Yeah.
But like Jaden Daniels is other than Lamar Jackson, probably the best running quarterback in the National Football League right now.
So that's a terrible one-on-one.
I don't know. I think in terms of their accuracy, Shador completed like 74% of his passes last year.
I know. He worries me a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know. Doing great out in whatever conference they're in really doesn't mean anything in the whole scheme of things, But Josh Allen came from Wyoming. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
But he had a physical skill set that you really never see, right? At his size, and he is a great runner. As when I say that, there's a lot of great running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right? Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But I do think Daniels, Tony, in my opinion, like when I think of a running quarterback, I think of elusiveness, right? Like, who's the guy who's likely to go 60 on you? And I think Lamar is still that guy.
Okay.
And I think Daniels is that guy.
I just feel like they both kind of smooth. I don't know. I just thought the way they held themselves.
There are probably some similarities to them.
I get what you're saying. Not that kind of a runner. Well, look, that would fall good for us, right? We want
fantastic,
both, right? We want both QBs out of the way, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Jags being a five.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They also said they're all pretty convinced to varying degrees that Jackson Dart's going in the first round. Now, is he going high enough to have any kind of impact on the Jags? I think if it were to happen, it would be like if the Jags trade back and like the Jets or the Saints take him at 7 or 9, thereby pushing another player down to where whatever range you fell back to potentially.
Has he moved up that high?
In some mocks, he goes 7. I've seen him go 7 in some mocks, but that's good for him. Is that good for the Jets or the Saints or whomever takes it that high?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
it's so hard, man. You got to hit on that position when you pick high, man.
I'll say,
so hard if you don't.
You can talk about what Trevor has done, hasn't done, the money he gets. Is he worth the contract right now? And based on his play, no, right? But you're paying him down the line for what you think he's going to be.
Happen. Yep.
I'd still rather roll the dice with Trevor Lawrence than being anywhere near this year's quarterback.
Oh, without a doubt.
Imagine if the Jags were in the exact same spot and Trevor Lawrence just decided yesterday, I'm retiring, right? Like, what do you do at quarterback if you're a team like that? Right? Now, it would have been different in that scenario. Maybe you would have tried to do something, pre-free agency. Maybe you would have gotten on Sam Darnold or somebody like that. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Or, the Geno Smith sweepstakes.
Well,
but that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, look, Trevor's got everything in the toolbox, man. And hopefully they can just hone it together and make it more consistent for him, make it easier for him. You hear what Baker says about the pre-snap reads, that Liam helped him really kind of just make them simpler. I think that's half the battle for any QB. So I expect a big jump out of Trevor in year 5, man. I know he's had, we haven't had the best path for him. He's played really well at times. He's played not so well at times. So hopefully he can hone it together. Because we all know you got to have the QB, at least the QB that can help you win games. He doesn't have to be super duper star, Mahomes type thing. You just got to have a quarterback that's efficient, that can run the offense, not make mistakes, and help you win ball.
Which is basically what Myles Garrett just said about Cleveland. Like, you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win. Well, and I heard somebody on ESPN say this, and they're absolutely right. I can't remember who it was. I don't want to hear a damn word out of Myles Garrett's mouth now.
Yeah, right.
You want it out because you wanted. It was all about winning.
Yeah.
And then they threw $40 million at you, and you're like, oh, I think I can win here.
I think I'm winning.
I won. Exactly. I won in life. I've won economically. So I don't hear any complaints about foot. The last thing that I want to see, and I don't really care what happens with the Cleveland Browns, but Myles Garrett gets disenchanted and tries to force a trade now that he's gotten his money.
Well, it's dumb on all levels because you think if he got traded somewhere, wherever he's going, it's going to give him $40 million a year.
Yeah. Sure,
right? Like he's getting that wherever he lands, right? Ultimately, so it was all just noise in the background. It got the contract done. Yep. I don't know how disgruntled he ever really was with being a Cleveland Brown.
I think he's disgruntled that he wasn't the highest paid defensive player or pass rusher or whatever the case may be. That's what he was disgruntled with more than anything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, even though you get paid and all that, and I know this is a blanket statement because some guys don't care, but, losing wears on you after a while.
Sure.
Where you're not going to the playoffs, you're getting it done, the offense ain't coming through for you, whatever. After a while, you're like, but when you're making $40 million, that helps ease the pain quite a bit.
Brian Sexton said yesterday, in his opinion, I don't agree with this, that if Trayvon Walker is a free agent right now, there'd be teams lining up to make him the highest paid defensive player in the league. I don't think that would be the case. Now,
not the highest paid, but he'd get a.
He's very young, and he said back-to-back double-digit sack seasons. He'd get a really good contract. He's not getting Myles Garrett money. He doesn't deserve Myles Garrett money.
No,
I mean, that's not a knock on Trayvon. That's just a realization how good Myles Garrett is.
I do think Trayvon doesn't get enough credit for, going from the stand-up outside backer in a 3-4 to coming to be a 4-3 D end. I mean, it's a little bit different, but he still was really productive. Overall, I think he's a player ascending. He has another year, even maybe a little bit better than the last two. I could see him being paid pretty damn high.
Let's crank it up, right? I mean, I'm all for Trayvon Walker putting the Jags in a tricky financial situation with his play on the field.
Yeah,
right. I mean, let's go out and get not 11, not 12. Let's go get 15. Let's go get 17.
I think he's got it in him.
Let's see it. And by the way, hey, Josh Allen, you're already being paid at that level. So let's see that again.
That's right.
Right? I mean, has any
Don't give me
team-
pressures.
What's the
Care
most
less.
that any pair of sack guys has ever had? Like, as a minute, like, both guys have had at least X amount of sacks on a team. Any team ever had 215 sack guys? I doubt it. Not that I can think of.
Well,
right?
what about Mathis and Freeney? Well, Freeney would be like 11 and a half. Freeney would be like 14, 15, right? Remember the two studs from Indy?
Maybe, yeah. That'd
might
be
have
good.
been.
I'd have to see, you know.
What about Neil
Did anyone
Smith
do
and,
that with Philly a couple of years ago when they were in the Super Bowl?
They had 4 guys with 10
Yeah.
or more, but I don't know if
Right.
anybody
Yeah.
had that exceptionally high number. Was Hassan Reddick one of those guys?
Might have been.
He might have been, yeah.
For them, maybe it. But who is the like? What? How many sacks did the second guy have?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. I would imagine there've been 12 sack, you know, pairings and things like that. I'm curious as to what has been the best because you're paying Josh Allen to be one of the top guys in that department, and you feel like Trayvon should be ascending as one of those top guys as well.
Absolutely.
So let's get it done. All right, we'll get it done with Demetrius Harvey coming up on the other side. He threw a little 3-round Jaguar mock out there yesterday. We'll get his thoughts on Ashton Genty as a potential target for the Jags at pick number 5. That and more coming up straight ahead. You're listening to Jaguars Today right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Put some paint on your quarter panel.
All the way up against the wall. There's still 3 left.
This Sunday at Martinsville.
They both spin out.
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyrics.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Tired of supermarket produce that's traveled thousands of miles before you get it? Treat your family to farm-fresh, Florida-grown fruits and veggies delivered right to your home with Doorbell Farms. No supply chain issues or questionable origins, just seasonal produce hand-picked from local farmers. Subscribe monthly and enjoy the best local farm produce delivered right to you. Sign up now at doorbellfarms.com, connecting real people to real family farms. Doorbellfarms.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days than bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find Scratch Kitchen that always comes in the clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktail shots, and more. Come on, somebody.
Scholar athletes don't just score on the field, they also excel in the classroom.
That's why 1010XL salutes the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Franchi Show, brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
Joe C. for Preferred Roofing, reminding you your roof is more than just felt and shingles. It's a system that not only keeps your home dry, but also impacts your heating and cooling bills. Preferred Roofing and Construction is a GAF Master Elite roofing contractor lauded for having the ability to educate and inform homeowners on their options. Why GAF and Preferred Roofing? They're veteran-owned and operated with ties to Duval for decades. A family business ready to make sure your family has a good roof over its head. Log on, preferredroofingjax.com.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, before we hit the break, we're talking about pairings of guys with double-digit sacks in the same year. Yeah. Like, what's the highest total for the second guy, right? I thought since 2000. I don't know about going back beyond that. Yeah. Trace Armstrong had 16.5 with the Dolphins in 2000. Jason Taylor had 14.5 as the second 31 guy. So 30.5, 31 sacks between the two.
Wow.
I don't even know if that's the highest total because you have TJ Watt's 22 sack season and stuff like that. But in terms of the second guy's number, that's the highest that we found. Oh, the Eagles, Tony, you brought up Hassan Reddick at 16. 3 other guys had 11 in 2022 that year. I'd take that as well.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I will take a conversation with Demetrius Harvey right now from the Florida Times-Union, talking a little Jaguar ball with you. Demetrius, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Excellent, man. Your 3-round mock for our purposes could not have hit at a better time yesterday as we were talking about Ashton Genty and how folks would feel about him. I still think the majority of fans feel like that's not the best use of resources. But let me just ask you, you put together a 3-round mock and you had Genty going to the Jags. Your purpose in that is what? Is it to show here's what it could look like? Here's something I'm advocating for. Here's something I think might happen. Like, what's your mindset as you're putting that together?
Yeah, this is more of like a thought experiment sort of thing. I mean, I enjoy causing discussion and allowing people to figure out things for themselves. And, this is sort of an extension of that where I'm just proposing, hey, what if they do this route. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't do that. I would. If they went ahead and did this, I would not poo-poo it or do anything about that. I think that it's actually a pretty smart move for the future of this franchise. But this essentially was just a thought experiment just to see what people would feel like if they went in this direction. It does seem like something that is possible, given that Travis Etienne is entering the final year of his deal, given that Ashton Genty is one of the top prospects, in my opinion, to come out in a long time. So, yeah, I do think that this is an interesting angle to take. Do I think it's likely? Not necessarily, but I do think it's possible.
Talking about the thought experiment side of the NFL draft and how to react to anything they're going to do, what do you think the plan would be for where they would play an offensive lineman if they were to take him at 5? Like, if they're taking him at 5, he has to start somewhere. Where would he play?
Yeah, that's something that I've been scratching my head about because, there's some people who would still have them draft an offensive lineman at 5, and I'm trying to figure out where they're going to play. I think perhaps his best position, depending, like, if they do take the tackle out of LSU, if they went ahead and did that, I feel as though you would just go ahead and maybe you would potentially move or push out Ezra Cleveland. He's essentially entering the final year, quote unquote, of his deal because, after this year they can probably move on. So perhaps that would be the move where they create competition, sort of have them play it out. And, yeah, maybe your 6th offensive lineman or the next guy up is making some money on the bench. But if they feel like they've elevated their group, then I can understand that, I guess.
Yeah, I'm actually, Demetrius, great to talk to you, my man. I'm in that boat. I think you could upgrade Walker Little, and I think he'd be a guy that is definitely upgradable. But back to your mock, I'm really curious on the Gianti pick. Who else was sitting there, and was this best player available for your thought experiment? Like he just happened to be there, and you had him rated higher than other people.
Yeah. So I went through, and Abdul Carter, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham were all off the board. So essentially, it was Will Campbell as the potential other selection, or you can go with Tet. Our T-Mac out of Arizona. So there was a couple of options. You could probably go with that Georgia linebacker too. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to see what it would look like when you have a elite running back, a guy who's going to hit the hole, a guy who's going to break almost every tackle, by far the best player in that area in the NCAA last year. It's not even close. So yeah, you get a guy who's going to add immediate star talent or star power to your offense with Trevor Lawrence. Mason Graham's already off the board. Travis Hunter's already off the board. So you go ahead and take the best available player.
All right.
So you took in your draft a running back, a cornerback, an edge rusher where there's not necessarily I understand the need for it, but there's not necessarily an immediate spot for him to start, and a wide receiver. How many Jaguar fans would lose their freaking minds if they did not take a defensive tackle or any offensive lineman in the first 3 rounds, in your opinion?
They would probably lose their minds, and I would understand it. I mean, I do think that they need to address the interior defensive line and particularly depth on the offensive line for the future moving forward. But they did sign 4 offensive linemen in free agency. Sure. It's not as though they haven't done anything in that area. How many more can you go ahead and stack in that area? I guess all of them. But inside defensive line, and that's another position that's interesting. I agree that Mason Graham would be a fantastic pick, and I think that he would upgrade the defensive line, all that stuff. But you have Devon Hamilton, Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, who you just drafted in the 2nd round last year. You have all these other bodies. None of them can come through for them for this new defensive coordinator. But so to me, the obvious needs, inside defensive line, offensive line, those are going to be addressed. I'm not too upset about myself not choosing one in the first 3.
Yeah, and it's not just the bodies that they have currently on the roster. It's the bodies in this draft at that position, Right. Every time we do a mock here and Mason Graham is very logical, and he's probably still the most mocked player to the team. I look up in the 2nd round, I'm like, I could have gotten this guy here. And then in the 3rd round, I could have gotten this guy here. And, I mean, it's so deep at that spot that's got to factor into their decision-making to some degree.
Absolutely. I do think it will. Now, does that mean that they won't go ahead and take as many swings as they can? Maybe they want to take Mason Graham and they want to take the 3rd round guy, blah, blah, Of course not, but I do think that does play a role. That has to. I mean, you have to go into the draft logically. You can't, fall in love just because it's that one guy. If you have a better need and there's no other players after that, then maybe you do want to take that guy. So we'll see what they do, but I do tend to agree with you where the defensive line class is deep as such where I don't think they have to take one at 5.
Along those kind of lines, though, you mentioned a name a few moments ago that has at least become more and more part of the conversation here in the last 3 weeks or so. Mm-hmm. How seriously do you expect the Jags to consider Jalen Walker out of Georgia at 5?
It's interesting. I mean, I just saw the report like everyone else. I don't necessarily have inside information on if they actually do covet him or anything. But when I was checking him out, he is an interesting player. Almost not the same caliber of player as Abdul Carter, but they have similar skill sets. They both can play off and on ball. They both can blitz. They both can cover. It would be an interesting project pick almost. I think I went through it when that mock draft was put out. I sort of went through it on Jacksonville.com to see how it would play out. Yeah, you would replace Devin Lloyd. You would have Jalen Walker go in there. You could even have him come down on third downs. There's various things. I do agree with the idea that if a player does have that sort of positional versatility, can impact the defense in that way, then he is worthy of a top 10 pick. So I don't know necessarily if I would take him, but I do understand the idea of that.
Demetrius, I think we're in a good spot at number 5. I mean, with the positions we need are really deep, it seems. What's the problem? Now, look, everyone's like, just trade back, but that's easier said than done. But what's the probability, do you think, that they may trade back from that 5th pick?
Mm-hmm. I could absolutely see it. I do know that this regime, and particularly James Gladstone, covets draft picks. Mm-hmm. People might think that the Rams don't like draft picks because of the past, how they were trading everybody, all that kind of stuff. But if you look at their recent history, I think 2 years ago they had the most draft picks in the NFL with 14 by the end of the day. So this is an organization that is going to build through the draft, and I think that trading down from 5 to acquire more picks, I mean, that's something that's going to be incredibly enticing to them, and, depending on who is there, obviously. So say if Travis Hunter does fall to 5, but the Jags aren't the team that wants to take him, maybe somebody gives you a boatload of picks, and then you would go ahead and do it. I do think that is something they're going to be contemplating.
We're talking off air about the fact that it appears that the Jags have not had any so-called top 30 visits. You're allowed to bring 30 prospects in. Out, beyond like the local guys in state, and that this is kind of the Rams' philosophy of not wanting to tip their hand. I mean, what does that tell you? Are these visits that important? I mean, obviously, most teams take advantage of it, and they don't end up drafting the majority of the players that they take in. What do you think about this methodology?
Yeah, I think it depends on the team, because I think that some teams, they'll do it different ways. The Jaguars obviously in the past brought in players that they were thinking to pick in the first round. It seems like they brought in a lot of high caliber players. Some teams take the 30 visits to double check on character things. They want to sort of get to know some guys that they might not have been able to get to know at the combine. So it'll be interesting. I'm not exactly sure how this regime does it. If they are trying to hide who's taking the 30 visits, which will eventually get out in some way, shape, or form. But if they are trying to hide that, then perhaps there is something to their 30 visits and who ends up actually coming in and meeting Gladstone and all of them. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Is there any player that has been discussed to the Jags at 5 throughout the process here the last few months that you just personally don't like the fit for whatever reason that might be?
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I've thought of that. Don't like the fit. Maybe if you want to talk about the tackle at 5, I know that he's an incredible player, Will Campbell. That's perhaps the only trepidation I have, where you have all 5 starting offensive linemen under contract over the next couple of years. You just signed Walker Little. I know it's not this regime that did it, but it's still a player that is making a lot of money, and so now you're sort of just adding more to that pot where you have other places to sort of you really need to upgrade. So if I had any trepidation, it's probably the offensive lineman at this point.
Any current guys on the roster you think could be trade bait for this offseason? Maybe not for the draft, but at some point?
obviously I floated out Travis Etienne. I feel like that's an obvious one.
Yeah.
He's a guy that it just is entering his 5th year. I don't think that this team is married to him, obviously. He might have a better opportunity somewhere else. So to me, that would be the one guy. As far as anyone else, I mean, honestly, I don't really see much in the way of where they're going to be able to generate enough in order for that to be likely. So yeah, I don't think they're necessarily going to be trading guys left and right, but Travis Etienne's a guy I would watch.
What kind of market can he have, though? In a year where they're talking about 30 draftable running backs, why would you trade for Travis Etienne's last year on the 5th-year option, the most expensive year of his contract, when you could get a younger player and pay him less money for the entirety of their contract?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, it is I think it's like around $6 million that they would have to pay him for this season. I think that if a team did trade for him, it would be because of injuries that happen at their position, and then perhaps maybe it's a team like the Cowboys who covet these veteran type of backs rather than let it go to a rookie. I think that would be the only thing. If they like his pass blocking ability on 3rd down, if they enjoy his receiving ability, if they think that they can use him in more ways than the Jaguars used to, I do think that he presents value more than what maybe we would think.
Do you think Walker Little would have any value in a trade if they were to draft an offensive lineman at 5?
No, that's an interesting question. In terms of just Walker's level of play over the last few years, he's obviously been able to show up and do well when he's available, but can he be relied upon to be available? All those kind of things. Is he a 17-game starter? No one has seen that yet. I do think that obviously teams would want to trade for Walker Little, even at that contract, probably, just because of how atrocious this position group just is in general. So I do think that Walker Little would have some sort of trade value. How much? I don't know if it would be that much.
But if you could get, I don't know, like when you say not that much, like if the guy's signed to a pretty reasonable contract, right? If he's going to be your starting left tackle, and he does have some experience, and if you liked him coming out, like I could see a mid-round pick for Walker Little.
Especially if you had another left tackle coming in.
Right, if you were taking Armand Membo and you thought he's your left tackle of the future, and we can get we give Walker Little in a 5th for another 3rd rounder or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can see the idea because if that other team views him as a starting caliber left tackle, then yeah, you're getting him on a pretty cheapish deal. So you don't really have to worry too much about money. And yeah, that a 3rd round pick is not that much for a starting offensive lineman. So I do understand the point. It's just how many teams do view him in that way is the question.
I hear you. All it takes is one, as they say, right? Yeah. Come join Demetrius and I as we co-manage an offensive line fantasy league coming to a internet near you. Demetrius, what are you cooking up at Jaguar or Jacksonville.com over the next week or so?
Yeah, obviously the owners' meetings are next week, so I'll be heading down to Palm Beach to cover that, talking with Liam Cohen, maybe more, probably not, but, just everything as far as what's going on there in the owners' meetings, how this is the first time we're going to be able to talk to Liam since the free agent, so just stay tuned for all that stuff over the next week, and then obviously draft.
We will. We appreciate you, as always, Demetrius, and hopefully we'll catch up with you and get some thoughts after the owners' meetings and see how you felt things went down from a Jaguar perspective. But all the best. Everybody go check out it's not all about Ashton Genty, the other guys that Demetrius projects to the Jags. Pretty interesting quartet of players. And if you haven't already, hop on Twitter and vote for your combo in our poll today because we threw them in there. 1st and 2nd round player combinations that you'd like to see end up in Jacksonville. But all the best, man, until we talk again.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, Demetrius Harvey at Demetrius82.
Nice.
Is where you'll find him.
Yeah,
just wanted to throw this out there because we're talking about the sack totals, right, with Jason Taylor and Trace Armstrong. The Dolphins came close to doing it again. 2 guys in 2003, 15 sacks, 13 sacks. Okay, Jason Taylor had the 13. Who had the 15 that year for the Dolphins? Remember, it was Trace Armstrong in 2000 at the 16.5. It's not Trace Armstrong. Remember who the other Dolphins pass rusher was back about 20 years ago? You'll know it as soon as I say it. There you go, that guy. Let me tell you.
Junior Seau?
No. Adewale Ogunleye.
Really?
Remember him?
Yeah, I do.
He had a 15 sack season, and Jason Taylor had 13. Jason Taylor was like the best number 2 sack man of all time, apparently, for a couple of years, at least in the 2000s. All right, interesting nugget from Chad Forbes out there in relation to the NFL draft. We'll get into that when we return. Cool. As we get into hour number 2, Tom McManus is here, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, Mike Dempsey with you. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Some of life's proudest moments came out of struggle. We did it. When you realize you met the challenge. 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Chevrolet, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. That's why we're proud to offer lifetime warranties and lifetime customer service. At Beaver Chevrolet, we're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, where we're ready to give you a peace of mind for a lifetime.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts, sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Home of the Jaguars, WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach, WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It's March Madness, and your office needs a champion. Advanced Business Solutions teams up with Xerox to bring you copiers that never miss a shot. Fast, reliable, and ready to handle the pressure. Make the winning play for your business. Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions, where your business goes for the win. Locally and veteran-owned.
Print documents and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
How
much do the performers for Super Bowl halftime shows get paid?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Super Bowl performers are not paid for their shows, but production costs are covered by the NFL, which could go as high as $15 million.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com. Powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update brought to you by Lone Pronto. The Florida Gators have advanced to the Elite 8 round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament for the 10th time in program history after defeating Maryland last night 87-71. The Gators struggled in the first half, committing 13 of their 17 total turnovers early on. Head coach Todd Golden on the postgame on the victory.
Really proud of our group. Competed really well. First half, we were a little casual with the basketball. Put ourselves in some predicaments and kept the game tight. The second half, we did a much better job taking care of it. Thought we competed really well defensively. Did a great job on the glass all night. With our ability to get shots every time, we were able to extend the lead. And credit to Maryland, they have a great team. Incredible year. Really, really proud of my guys, and we're really pleased to be playing on Saturday.
The Gators will face off tomorrow against Texas Tech in the Elite 8 round at 6:09. Listen to the game live on 1010 AM and 92.5 FM. It's 77 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time in temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, a couple of things here. This is interesting to me. Maybe no one else. But I don't know.
Let's find out.
On a text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure. Let's put it out there and find out, all right? If you all fall asleep, if your head's hit the table, I'll know. Someone just texted in. I think the Jags will trade back in the first round and get two good to great players like Houston did a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. Well, he's saying trade back into the first round, right?
Like, well, we've done that before.
Houston got Stroud, and then they got Anderson.
Right.
Back-to-back selections. What is the likelihood, you think, that the Jags are going to move up from 36 and try to get into the first round for a particular player?
Not if it takes all the draft picks at that one guy, where they're going to draft.
Right.
I don't want them to
the
give
one
up on
mock
those.
that we saw from Chris Trapasso,
right.
that we modify. His is the mock that we modified for today's poll. And he had the Jags taking Will Campbell and then trading each of their next 3 picks.
Right.
So their second and their 2/3 to get up to 20 to take Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon. I'm like, man, there's got to be a defensive tackle at 36 that I like to pair with those 2 third-rounders better than that. So I don't think that's, maybe a wide receiver. Like, I feel like there's a group of 4 to 5 wide receivers that there's considered to be a drop-off. Beyond that, like if you could get an Emeka Ibuka or a Luther Burden or Matthew Golden, if he's in the right spot? I mean, what do you think would be the likely spot?
I
or
don't
player
know.
or
I mean,
position?
we've got 10 picks, so you got some luxury, Tone, right? I mean, you've got those picks. I mean, I'd like to see them keep them, but at the same time, what if? I mean, I wouldn't like to see all three of those picks be gone. You know what I mean? Where it takes you the second and 2/3, to get it back into the first.
Sure, I'm with you.
But
what if it cost you? What if it cost you 88 and a fifth to get up to like 30? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would do something like that.
Okay, but is there a position or player that stands out to you that you think they'd be the most likely to be moving for?
Well, the guy, I mean, I think he's going to be gone, but you see him dropping in the second round is that Grant from Michigan.
Kenneth Grant,
guy.
yeah.
But I also like the guy from Ohio State.
Tyleek Williams.
Yeah, I think he's a stud player. The kind of defensive lineman I think we need is that more of a one technique on the nose, plug up some space.
How dare you use the term one technique?
How dare I, Mike?
Because someone
you're
might
so
not
clever.
know.
You're so clever.
Now I got to explain. Tom tweeted out yesterday, I feel, and I'm paraphrasing, I think we need a one technique, meaning a nose tackle. As compared to the pass rushing, penetrating three technique type defensive tackle.
Correct.
That Mason Smith is supposed to be eventually, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Now, Tony just made a good point off the air. I'm going to let him say it, but he made a great point about Mason Graham at 5.
I think, obviously, the bigger need is nose tackle on the roster, but I don't think anything at the 3 tech on this roster is good enough that if the best player available when you're at 5, if he plays 3 tech, doesn't matter to me, right? If he's the best player available in the draft and he happens to be at a position where we don't need a body at that spot, that's not much of a factor for me, which is why Mason's been pretty solid in that spot for me for a while now.
I understand. I think it depends, though. There are degrees. Like if you feel like, let's say Mason Graham's the best available, and on your scale of 1 to 100, I'm just making up a number here, he's an 88, best available. Well, if there's 386s, and you think by the time you get to pick 36, at defensive tackle, they're going to be 379s, and these other positions are going to be in the 60s.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's also, we feel like he's an 88, and the next guy on our list is an 82.
There's that.
Right?
Oh, that's a different story.
Like that kind of thing is a factor in this as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is in reality something like that with Mason Graham, because I don't disagree. Nose tackle is obviously the much bigger need on the roster. It's obviously the much bigger need on the roster. But Armstead's going to be what? At this point in his career, it's one and done anyway, even if he is. There's no impact anymore with Devon Hamilton. I'm intrigued by Mason Smith, but I'm not sold on it.
Right.
Like that kind of. So I don't think they have punch at the 3 technique on the roster right now. They have more punch at that than they do nose tackle.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're great at that spot, and that's such a valuable spot.
I think it's going to come down to how do they feel about Mason Smith. And look, Jordan Jefferson's not a nose tackle either. He's not big enough to play nose, so he could be another 3 technique for you. Armstead's going to be 1 year, right? And I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying it really is going to depend on, do they think Mason Smith's ready to become that kind of defensive tackle? Then we have the luxury to not have to take Mason Graham, even if he's our top-rated player, right, in that sense. But I get what you're saying. I agree. They haven't done enough. Neither 3 of those guys, Jefferson, Armstead, nor Smith, have where you'd say, no, we don't need Graham if he's your highest rated.
Breaking news from the Jaguars.
Oh,
okay.
Really?
Yes.
Seriously?
As we were just talking about, they may offload some offensive linemen, right? If they were to consider one at 5, whatever, they've signed a bunch of guys. The Jaguars have waived Dieter Iserlin.
Hardly knew him.
Where did he come from anyway?
Quite frankly, I don't know.
Where did he come? I saw it on the depth chart on East. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, where did he come from?
I was right there with you. I'm like, Dieter Iserlin.
Radar signing.
But they have waived him. Okay. So Dieter Iserlin will not be competing for a spot for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I saw where Van Lanen's getting a look at from he's a restricted free agent, and they tendered him a pretty high tender.
They get a 6th rounder if somebody signs him.
Okay, somebody's got looking at him right now.
That's the original round tender, I guess. So he was a 6th round pick.
Good. I knew they saw
and they
that
have we'll take another 6th round pick. I wonder how they feel about his film because they have brought in Chuma Edoga, right, and Fred Johnson, who could both be swing tackles for you.
Or a starter in there, maybe.
All right, let's get John on the west side wants to weigh in on the defensive tackle discussion here for the Jaguars. Okay. John, you're on Jaguars Today. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I just wanted to say that, Philly won that game because them four guys up front actually just literally, they bullied them. They beat that butt consistently every play. And I'm a little worried about this Mason guy. Didn't he weigh in like 30 pounds light than what he played at?
No, he didn't. Not 30.
He did.
He did, but he put it back on.
He put 10 back on. At the Combine,
he was 296 at the Combine.
296 at the Combine, right? He's listed at 326.
But he played at 310.
Is this guy going to be the guy that goes in there is this the guy that's going to go in there and smoke somebody? We need some bullies. We don't,
Well, he did put 10 pounds back on by his pro day last week. So, they always, those numbers at the Combine, they're trying to put themselves in best position to run a 3-cone drill and all that stuff.
Right.
And I hear you too, man. I'm not, believe me, I'm not stumping for or against Mason Graham if they think he's the best. Yep. I do agree they need some bullies. I think we all agree.
Yeah, totally.
They need some bullies up front.
Thank you for taking my call.
Appreciate you, John. Thank you very much.
I watched Graham move, and granted, it was just in those, against pads in their pro day. I watched Mason Graham do his workout on video. I mean, he's a good athlete. He doesn't and granted, you could teach this, I guess, but when Aaron Donald hit, it was he had to be so violent with his hands and quick. And even Braden Fisk, when you watch Braden Fisk work out at the Combine, that quick twitch motor, I didn't see that out of Graham. I saw a nice athlete, but I don't know, man. And then I saw they interviewed him, and this might not mean anything, but he's just not that big. I think coming off the bus, you're not going to be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You'd say that about Aaron Donald, though, too, right? And it doesn't mean he's Aaron Donald. I'm just saying, Aaron Donald was definitely under. That was the knock on him.
He was undersized, I know, but he was violent in college.
I'm not saying he is Aaron Donald. I'm just saying comparison size-wise can be made.
Yeah. Tommy, what I think you're seeing is the real-life reality of this draft.
Yeah.
Right? We've been discussing it the whole time. I think there are really two blue-chip prospects in this draft. And when you watch them move, it pops, right? You're like, that's what it's supposed to look like with a top 5 pick. Right. I don't think anybody else in the draft does that. Yep. When you watch them, I think you're watching a bunch of guys going, yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good players. I think that's what's in this draft. Even where the Jaguars are drafting, I think that's likely what's going to be available to them because the two real true blue chip prospects are going to go somewhere in those top 4 picks. And if they don't, they ought to sprint the pick to the podium.
Yep.
Right? If Hunter or Carter are there.
Yeah.
When they're on, it's we got to go. There just aren't any other players in the draft that are that's going to be available.
Well, and again, the depth is good for these positions, right? So you don't you don't feel forced you got to go Graham.
No.
If you feel like you can get somebody in the 2nd or 3rd round, that's going to be – look, for me, I was saying this on my podcast earlier, the first 3 rounds or even 4 rounds, they're going to be they got to be ball players. Right? They got to be solid starters for you, solid contributors. The number 1 pick should be a star, or at least close to it. Mm-hmm. After that, 5th, 6th, 7th round, it's gravy if you find guys that are going to be contributors, right? You know what I mean? Because 2nd and 3rd round, they're just knocked down, not because of their playmaking ability.
In the 6th or 7th round, if you get a guy who's a special teamer, you're probably doing okay.
No, right.
A coverage guy, a core 4 special teamer type.
Right.
Or you take a chance on guys with traits. That may take a few years to develop or whatever. Mason Graham was listed here at ESPN at 6'3", 320, right? Whether he played at 320 or not, that's what they listed him.
I saw that.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then he weighed in at 296. At the pro day, he was 306.
Right.
Okay, so let's say he plays in the 310 range. So
I've heard him say he played in the 310, 312 range.
Okay, let's call him 6'3", 311, right? Split the difference, right?
Perfect.
Aaron Donald, now they don't usually ever update these numbers. So I'm presuming this is what he weighed coming out of college and whatever. What do you think they have him listed at Pro Football Reference?
275.
6'1", 280.
Okay.
I mean, that's, he's just a
short,
freak of
back,
he's
compact, but
absolutely, and freakishly strong too.
Beat you with quickness, strength, and tenacity.
Right. I'm just saying though that when you say Mason Graham doesn't seem big.
Oh, now wait a minute. When 6'1", 280, the way Aaron Donald looks, benching 500 pounds, coming off the bus, you're like, okay, that looks like somebody. I'm not calling him he's soft or anything, but his body don't impress me.
I saw somebody talking about this. I'll extend it one further. They're talking about the first 2 rounds. Would you take right now Mason Graham at 5, Kenneth Grant at 36, and Josiah Stewart, the Michigan edge rusher, at 70. Would you take that Michigan trio right now?
Absolutely.
That's your defensive line of the future, along with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen.
Your nose has to be where they got to double team you. You know what I mean? Because you're so big that one guy can't handle you initially by yourself.
If I could have Mason Graham at 5 or Kenneth Grant at 36, it's no brainer. But is Kenneth Grant going to be there at 36? You see projections of him in the teens sometimes.
Yeah, I think likely not.
Probably not, right? But there are enough defensive tackles that maybe. Yeah. You just don't know, you know? You got the Oregon kid. You got Walter Nolan. You got a bunch of
Kentucky
guys.
kid, although he'll probably
he's going to be a little bit later.
Yeah.
We'll get into that because Josh Edwards' mock, where he had Jalen Walker going to the Jags, does have him.
Jolan, I think his name is.
Yeah, you're talking about Dion. What is
defense tackle for a big guy, 6'7".
Deion Walker.
Yeah, Walker.
There's too many damn Walkers, man. I swear to you.
Yeah.
There's too many Walkers. Anyway, we'll get into that. And I told you Chad Forbes had an interesting little nugget, and we'll pass that along when we come back. Didn't get to it here. Coming up, Tony will take us around the league. We'll check in on today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. A lot to do still. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Sailed past their 10-year anniversary with rousing success. Over 24,000 clients now in that 10-plus years have lost nearly 800,000 pounds. That's right, clients along the way who've helped eliminate the need for cholesterol medications, blood pressure medications, sometimes even type 2 diabetes medications. People like me, people like your neighbors, your friends, other people here at 1010XL who just wanted to take back control of their weight, lose the weight, but also be able to maintain that weight loss with Awaken 180. That's the promise. In fact, free coaching and support for life is the backbone of their program. So set a goal weight. Awaken will help you lose weekly after week after week after week. The pounds will fall off. You hit that goal weight, and they'll give you free coaching and support for life after that point. How do you get started? Go to awaken180weightloss.com and schedule a free consultation there. Don't wait. It's always a good time for a New Year's resolution. The new year starts today with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. Home of the Florida Gators. Enjoy a little madness. This 1010XL March moment is brought to you by Garber Auto Mall. We can wiggle it.
Jean-Baptiste with one. Heaves it for the win. Oh! Chattanooga with a game-winning shot in overtime. And a shot he will never forget.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 50% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
We've all been waiting for it, and now March is finally here. Joe C. for Hard Rock Bet. The only way to make the most of March is to feed the frenzy. Check out all the lines, the tournament's opening rounds, and don't miss out. Who's getting upset? Who's going all the way? Play right along with them at Hard Rock Bet or download the app. Super easy to play and win on the Hard Rock Bet app. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
This is Jaguars Today Friday. Brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors to get the job done right. Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit Coastal Equipment for a demo today.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in the clinic.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, child care leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3,
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010xl.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor, outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
The 2025 NFL season is right around the corner, and the Jags are building something special. A fresh team, a new culture, and a stadium that's going to change the game. Be there to witness head coach Liam Cohen and the rest of the coaching crew in action and secure your place in line for the stadium of the future with your 2025 season ticket membership. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at the bank this fall.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Spring pickleball, tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? Hurry, time is running out. March is almost over. You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Sign up at sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, just wanted to read this. Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Fights. I don't know. Here's his bio. NFL aficionado. Frequent contributor on national and local radio, plus podcast. Who's he really affiliated with? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, is he just a self-styled guy? I have no idea. But he claims that a former NFL executive sent him a text. Like, if, there are plenty of former NFL executive could mean a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah, totally.
But send him this text. Quote, "We all get fired, but you draft Hall of Famers, that's on your resume for eternity. The Boise State kid," meaning Ashton Genty, "will be in Canton. Character is better than the talent with him. Perfect kid. I'll take that on my resume." Now that's from, by the way, a former NFL executive who has been fired likely from some team. People are suggesting it's Dave Gettleman because he drafted Saquon, and they'll look kindly upon that. Again, I'm just throwing it out there because we've been talking about Genty. I'm not like on the push the Ashton Genty propaganda ride, but I'm open to it. Like, if because it's not just the fifth pick that you're taking here. If you think he comes in and let's say he's the top 5 back in the league right away, and you've improved your offensive line enough for that to matter,
like, as comfortable as I am with Mason Graham at 5, and I continue to express it, I'm very comfortable with that being the guy at 5. I'd be in favor of it. If that's what they're left with, I'd be in favor of it, them going that direction. But I can understand if you're looking at the prospects, when you're looking at Genty and Graham, and you look at Genty and say special.
Yes.
But, like, I can understand evaluating him and saying special. Now
Difference
it's
maker.
running back,
Right.
so it's a bit different as far as value in the draft, but special, right? I can understand if you're in that position, you say, I'm taking special, right? I have no issue with it. Like, I have no issue with them if that's the decision they were to make in that kind of situation. They're on the clock at 5. All these premier players are gone. I think Genty is likely a premier player. He's knocked because he plays running back.
Right.
And it's a great running back class, allegedly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a factor.
Then you got to wonder, would some other team want to jump up and grab him?
Well, I was just thinking about this, right? We're talking on the break.
I don't know.
If Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are gone, and the 2 quarterbacks are gone, and you want the Jags to trade back, who's coming up for what exactly?
Yeah.
I mean, is a team trading up for running back? Like, Dallas may love Genty, but maybe they say, you know what, we're not going to give you 12 and 44, whatever they have, to come up and get him.
Well, New England's interesting at 4 because they need a lot. I'm
right,
sure
but in that scenario, they've taken Hunter or Abdul Carter.
Oh, okay.
So those guys are gone.
So it's the 2 blue chip guys
The 2
and the
blue
2
chip guys and the 2 quarterbacks.
My scenario was hypothetical that they would trade out of 4 but still want a lineman. You know what I mean?
Who, the Patriots?
The Patriots.
And maybe so, but you think they'd trade back and then trade back
maybe,
up?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
I think if it were someone to actually come in that scenario coming up for 5, it would be for one of the offensive linemen. Like if they felt like it was like this is the best left tackle in the draft.
I think likely if that's the scenario that played out, that they would have to discount the price on the pick. I think to get that kind of thing done in this draft, I think to even a team, if they want to come up and get an offensive lineman, I think it's because the Jags are willing to sell that pick at whatever, the 80, 85% of what it's typically worth because of what's already happened in this draft, and a team really wants this guy, but they're not going to pay the premium on it.
Then
right?
all right, what's your acceptable price? And you're Jacksonville. You're looking at it. You're James Gladstone, and San Fran wants to come up from 11, but they don't want to give you their second-round pick. What's enough for you? 3rd and a 4th? Because the second rounder is about, on the chart,
Right.
that's about the fair value for that
be.
spot. With the Jags adding a 6th rounder. We looked at it earlier.
okay.
So the fifth overall and a 6th rounder for 11 and like 43,
Right.
whatever it would be.
I think me personally, if I was in the situation, I wouldn't trade. Right? Like if that's the offer that they'd be willing to make back, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it plays out in that scenario, that would be the kind of, they'd say, we're not paying the full, we'll give this, and you say, it's not enough. It's not worth giving up the opportunity to get, even if it is Genty, they're at 5, to still pull the trigger on that. They need some kind of major impact at that spot. I don't think the Jags are in a position to sell the 5th pick at a discounted price. I think if one of the premium guys are still there and you can get the premium on trading out of that 5th spot, now you have to do the math of, is the premium player worth...
Right. Then I'm more inclined to just take the premium player.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Right. So I think in either scenario, I think the overwhelming likelihood, in fact, in my mind, it's like 95%. Right now in my head, they're picking 5th.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I'd stick to the guns on that second round. Be like, then no Coke for you. You know what I mean? I mean, I need... but I wouldn't think about this. 11, 36, 43, then the 2/3, right? That's what San Fran would give up, 11 and 43.
If you could get that,
if they would pay the second.
I would take
I know. I wouldn't do it without the second.
Right, I would take
I'd
it right
stick to my
now.
guns,
If
but
you
no,
could get the extra 43, because at 11,
give me the second,
I mean,
or you don't get him.
You may end up taking a guy that theoretically is there at 11 anyway. Right? I mean, you see these mocks are all over the place. Well, Will Campbell and Armand Membo are not going to be there. Well, I could show you a mock today that has Will Campbell going 11.
Sure.
In those scenarios.
You got that Kelvin Banks Jr. kid who's right around 13,
It depends
14.
on if you like, and look, it all depends on what the Jags grade these guys.
There's a kid from Ohio State, they're saying, if his knee
Jalen
get
Walker,
hurt, he'll be top.
Michael Williams, there are a lot of guys that you can convince yourself that, hey, if we could get him and let's say a starting corner at 43.
Right.
Is that better than what we would have gotten just sitting pat taking Mason Graham or anyone else?
Which is a big reason why I just think it's unlikely. And it's why I think if San Francisco does come, they say, we're not giving 43. Right? Like, I think that's a big impetus for them not to make that the offer.
Yeah.
And by the way, San Fran's been selling off pieces and retooling. So we're just using them as an example of the price. maybe it's Dallas. I don't see
got
Dallas coming
Jets
up for
at 7, maybe for an lineman.
Maybe I could see if Shador was there, or but
yeah, quarterback changes it.
Yeah, totally.
Right. The quarterback could change it. I don't think the Jets are going to trade up 2 spots for Jackson Dart, right? With
you wouldn't think
Fields,
but
Vegas
the Jets are nuts. The Jets do something crazy. We all go, it's the Jets.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we got to go around the league in a minute, but let's get in today's 10-10 take.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Which pair of players would you be the happiest with for the Jacksonville Jaguars if this was the combo for their first 2 picks? By the way, Dave replied, if these were the only options, none of it. Okay, so you just pass and we'll go to the 3rd round. Good. Good. Excellent. I'd rather have nothing than these combos. But if these were the choices, and these are based on actual mock drafts that have been done by national writers or local writers, in the case of Demetrius Harvey, in the last week or so, Mason Graham and Mason Taylor, Will Campbell and Tyleik Williams, Jalen Walker and Emeka Ibuka, or Ashton Genty and Trey Amos, all different position combos.
Yep.
I'm kind of torn between the middle 2, but I kind of convinced myself that I really like Jalen Walker. And part of this reason I'd vote for that pairing is Ibuka is often not available at 36 in these mocks, right? So he's an instant opposite starter across from Brian Thomas, and you've got your pair of receivers to grow with Trevor Lawrence for a long time now. You get your edge rusher and defensive tackles deep enough that I can get one at 70 if it's Alfred Collins or any number of guys. So I kind of like that combo. I'd probably say Campbell and Tyleik Williams would be next just because you're giving me all that beef. So how do you feel, Tommy, out of these
I'd
combos?
flip it, I think. I like those 2 middle ones, too. But I'd like the O-line, D-line.
O-line, D-line. What about you, Tone?
I would.
I think right now in my mind, finding that second wide receiver option is probably the highest priority for me in this draft. So given these options, I would go Walker Ibuka.
Okay. By the way, almost 33%. This has changed a little bit, but the top 3 are fairly close. Campbell and Williams is the top choice right now. Graham and Taylor is the second choice at 31.5%. 24% going with Walker and Ibuka, and only 11.5% going with Genty and Trey Amos. Not enough big bodies for those folks at that point in time. All right, if you're on the line, stay there. We'll get to you on the other side coming out. Tony will take us around the league as well as we wrap up the week on Jaguars Today straight ahead on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
You'll do anything you can to ruin my day, won't you?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I got up today feeling so good. You couldn't leave us alone.
Mornings on 1010XL.
We're doing so well.
Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL. Brought to you by San Jose Collision.
The Gators won their Sweet 16 matchup against the Maryland Terrapins last night, 87-71, in dominant fashion. The ball was spread around evenly in their victory, with 6 players in double figures, including Thomas Houck and Denzel Aberdeen off the bench. The Gators will face Texas Tech in the Elite 8 at 6:09 tomorrow night. Catch the game on 10:10 a.m.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Share your voice anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Are you serious? Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
If you can't call or email, text us. 641-1010.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight, but it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it. And send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, as we come to an end of the week here on Jaguars Today, still got about 10 minutes to dig into a few Jaguar nuggets as we cool down. Tony will take us on a look around what's happening with the other 31 clubs.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Cleveland hosted quarterback Cam Ward for a private workout on Wednesday. Will also be hosting Shedeur Sanders following Colorado's Pro Day on April 4th. Tennessee is holding a private workout with Cam Ward today and will also host Sanders for a private workout after his Pro Day there. Draft prospect Abdul Carter will not be working out at Penn State's Pro Day today, according to his agent Drew Rosenhaus, because he's still finishing up his rehab. Rosenhaus did say that Carter may still do a workout for teams in mid-April before the NFL draft. The New York Jets are signing wide receiver Josh Reynolds to a one-year deal worth up to $5 million. And Kansas City is signing defensive end Charles Omenihu to a one-year deal.
All right. Before we go to get Darren here on the phone lines, I wanted to mention in that Josh Edwards 3-round mock that he had Jalen Walker, the edge rusher, at 5. He had Ibuka, the wide receiver, at 36. Jags end up with Deion Walker at 70, the Kentucky defensive tackle, right? And you talk about a space eater, right? And then at pick 88, your guy, Ozzie Trapillo, Boston College, offensive lineman.
He's good, man.
You know, I mean, there are a lot of ways. The point being, if you don't go big on the line of scrimmage, because Jalen Walker's like a linebacker, pass rusher, hybrid combo player. He's a smaller guy. He's like 6'1", 240 maybe, something like that. You can still get quality big men in this draft.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the Rams draft lesson. They haven't had first-round picks in a while because they're willing to give all those away to do other things, but it's not that they haven't been effective in the draft.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they still find effective players throughout the draft. So the first round isn't everything, but you're picking fifth. Right. Like, that's the reality of it. So you need an impact player coming out of this round.
And when they did have a first round, they took Jared Verse, who was Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Right.
So you got to nail those, too.
Absolutely.
All right. Our man Darren up next here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Darren.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday. I hadn't seen y'all. It was great to see y'all at the Tom Coughlin J Fund.
You too, brother.
Yes, sir.
Man, it was awesome. We had a great time that night. Hey, I had the privilege of meeting and talking the other day for a while with Julie Gladstone. And I told her, I said, look, I consider myself to be a fanatic, so I'm going to give you my wish list to pass on to James. She said, absolutely. She said, because I give my wish list as well. So I'm like, so I said, it's Abdullah Carter. I said, I don't think he'll be there, but that's number one. I said, then Travis Hunter, and I said, my personal opinion, I know he's be drafting high, but I think that McMillan, the wide receiver, is going to be an all-pro. I really do. I think he is going to be the next, just superstar wide receiver. And but I will tell you this. She told me, she said, well, my wish list, and I'm going to give it to him, she said, is Travis Hunter. So just a little nugget there, guys. So,
all right.
Anyway,
the call is coming from inside the house. Travis Hunter on the line. All right, Darren, thanks, bud. And it was good to see you out at the J-Fun Wine Gala as far as that goes. Ted McMillan only on a trade back for me.
Yeah.
Not at 5. You won't find anybody that says he would have been a top 4 receiver last year. He's not better than these guys that went last year. Now, granted, last year's class may have been an exceptional one.
Right. Yeah.
I think he's a good receiver, and I think he's a nice complement to the type of receiver Brian Thomas Jr. is.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced he's the next big thing at wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know. He may be. But, man, we need more help, I think, than that right now.
Doesn't mean I think Darren's wrong. I mean, everyone's got an opinion, and we'll find out.
Well, look, if they pick Gianti, if they pick McMillan, if they pick Mason Graham, you can understand those picks, right? If it's Travis Hunter, you can understand. You know what I mean? Like, you understand those picks. Like, okay, you may not totally agree with it, but you can understand it. I mean, look, if McMillan ends up being, we didn't know what we had in Brian Thomas Jr. I'm not saying he's going to be him, but did we know what we had in Brian Thomas Jr. when they drafted him? We knew he had big production.
We knew it, right? He had big production and a lot of talent and a lot of speed, but they traded back with the risk that somebody else could take him.
Right.
So,
I don't know. Giving Trev another weapon, I'd be okay. That would be high on my list. When I saw it, I'm going to be like, oh, that's a terrible pick.
McMillan, by the way, at his pro day, most of the consensus was he ran about a 4.55.
Yeah.
Right, which is fine. At the type of receiver he is in the side, but he's not a high 4.3s guy, certainly,
well,
or
we
a
got
4.4
that
guy.
in BTJ. So
John Shipley over at Jaguar Report picked up, I guess, something that Adam Schefter
NFL
mentioned.
Live.
NFL Live, okay. And he said that he believes the Jaguars checked in on Stephon Diggs before he signed.
I thought they would.
So, boy, not at that price.
Not at that price.
I mean,
no. But I thought they'd at least kick the tires
absurd.
on him.
For a guy coming off a torn ACL who's...
I'm telling you, they're laundering money in the NFL. That's what's
Maybe
going
they
on.
are,
They're
man.
throwing money at anything.
But he
And
said,
everything.
I think the Broncos checked in on him. I think the Jaguars checked in. And I think other teams were checking in. But the Patriots certainly seem to want him the most. Yeah, they paid him 3 years, $69 million, 26 guaranteed for a guy coming off major injury on the wrong side of 30 now. And, look, if you're going to kick the tires on that,
I'd love to know what the price point was.
right, the price, what they were,
Where they were willing to go.
Or did they have any interest in Cooper Kupp, or do they think, he's washed at this point? Because Cooper Kupp, really, if you look at his deal, they can get out of it in Seattle after 1 year.
Right.
And so obviously they're looking to, but it makes you wonder if they're looking to potentially go with a veteran wide receiver. Is that simply like they're doing on the offensive line? Like, we're signing guys. Right now we can start with these 5 that we have.
Yep.
That doesn't mean if the right one falls into our lap, we're not going to take him. You know?
Right.
I don't think signing a veteran receiver, like if they had signed Cooper Kupp.
Right.
And they could get out of it after 1 year, I don't think that takes wide receiver off the table in the top 3 rounds.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree. And that we definitely need more weapons for Trevor. Just to me, it's like 4th on the list, I think, if I had to.
It'd be a weapon? Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
He would.
He would be a weapon.
And look, again, if you take him at 5, is it no, but if he turns out to be 3/4 of Freddie Taylor, it's good. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only reason you take him if he's going to be that
You
kind of
think
back.
he's going to be, and look, you look at some of the advanced metrics on him, he is not just the top of the class. He is considered top of the
I don't
class.
know about breaking every tackle like Demetrius was saying, but I know he's a tough running back.
That's how he was in college.
No, I know.
He was a tackle-breaking machine. But I think Tony's point yesterday, the biggest concern, he had 374 carries last year.
Pounding.
Carries.
Yeah.
Not just touches. And if he's breaking all those tackles, that means he's not taking them all to the house. He's getting hit.
That's right.
Even on some of the ones he took to the house, he probably got hit a few times.
He's definitely special. He looked good in his workout. He comes off the bus. You're like, that looks like.
I don't think it'll be Genty, man. I don't either. My point is, there's so many fun combos you can put together here.
I hadn't looked until we just said it. The NFL comparison with Genty is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Right.
That's the guy that they compare him to. LaDainian Tomlinson, his last year at TCU, 369 carries.
Wow.
And he was
went fifth,
huge,
didn't he?
and he was right. He went fifth.
And that's the 4th of 4 years where he had 126, 144, 268, 369.
Yeah, it didn't seem to affect him that much.
I'd be all for it. I would. Look, you need another dynamic. I just say one thing Demetrius said, which I found very interesting. He's like, he hits the hole harder. Like, I swear last year, now a lot of it was blocking, but I swear to you, half of it was probably the backs missing the hole at the right time. I bet you go back and look. 'Cause I know when I watch the film, I'd be like, oh, man, he missed that. He missed that. It wouldn't be, prevalent, but it'd be enough to where you're like, man, you really missed that hole. Mm-hmm. And granted, it's all based on timing in that kind of zone blocking scheme, right? Sure. You got to get the one cut and go kind of deal.
On the text line,
Etienne better at that.
Text line feels like us taking Genty would be like Indy with Jonathan Taylor, just wasting away. I get what they're saying. If you're not going to win big, but you could argue that with any player the Jags have ever drafted. Are they wasting away? We haven't won a championship.
Yeah.
Right?
Are we wasting away Trevor Lawrence? He hasn't won anything.
Right. I understand what he said, and especially at running back. Like, you got a window you feel is usually smaller with running backs. One
player does not make you win, right? But you want that player to be one of the best at his position, then it's a win.
Sure.
Right? Even if your team doesn't win.
But I do get the point.
Sense.
Like, Saquon, oh my God, how come everyone didn't sign Saquon? Because everyone doesn't have Philly's offensive line.
Right.
700 more yards in Philadelphia than he ever had with the Giants.
Yep.
Because
big difference.
Right. Is he a lesser player with the Giants? No. circumstance matters a lot, you know? So was Saquon wasting away? To a degree, he was.
In that regard,
right?
sure.
Like he put up big numbers, but they didn't lead that. Like Freddie T came in and he joined an ascending team.
Yeah, we were
and he
pretty
took
loaded.
it to another level.
He was another level for sure. But we were pretty loaded when we even grabbed Donovan too, and he played right away.
But look, if you drafted Freddie T now and his career path went the same way, oh my gosh, be getting killed because all those early injuries, right?
Yep.
Like great rookie year, and then all that stuff that comes with it. All right, the ladies of helmets and heels are out at Jacksonville University, so why don't we check in and see what's on the agenda?
All right.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, some of the coolest cats in town include the ladies of helmets and heels. Mia O'Brien out at JU. What's going on at JU today, Mia?
Let me tell you, Mike Dempsey, I've been out here to the boathouse, the river house, the cantina that they've got, and they've got a ton of construction going on at JU. They're putting in, I think it's a pool, maybe it's a skate park, but we are here for beach volleyball, massive beach volleyball tournament going on just behind us. One of the best views of downtown Jacksonville here along the St. Johns River, and we're excited to not only bring you updates from this beach volleyball tournament, promote the sport, promote our friends here at Jacksonville University, but also be joined by JU Athletic Director Alex Ricker-Gilbert to talk about all the exciting additions here on campus.
All right, we'll look forward to all that coming up, and I'm sure you'll be getting into March Madness as well with the Gators winning over Maryland last night and another game on the horizon this weekend. Mia, have a great show out there today.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
We'll be listening out of JU. I went to their boathouse in the 80s when I was on the Flagler College crew team, right?
Yeah.
And you know the typical rowing machine, you have like a wheel and like you pull straight in.
Yeah.
JU had a rowing machine that had like an oar that actually swung out like you were in a boat. And it was like, oh my gosh, like this is the height. They had a really good program back in the day. I don't know what it's like now.
You should ask Dylan what he's doing after the show.
Do you think
maybe a beach volleyball tournament would be up his alley?
Dylan,
I mean,
what
you're
do
a
you
single
think,
guy,
man?
right? Go check out some beach volleyball.
I was going to nap before I came back here tonight.
Come on.
All right.
So that'd be a negative.
Dylan's an old 27, man. He's going to catch a nap, then he's going to come back and work some more tonight is what he's going to
be
do.
at Applebee's around 9 o'clock.
Any big plans for the weekend? Dylan Denmark, any plans for the weekend?
No. Track meet tomorrow,
Track
Gator
meet,
game tomorrow night, and then I'll be here Sunday morning from 10 to 1. So that's my schedule.
All right. I got a tea time on the one day in like the next 10 days that it's going to rain. So got that going for me on Sunday. Yeah, it's like 70% chance. What are you going to do? But all right, Tony's got Braves baseball tonight.
Yes, I do.
Tommy's got Dad Bods tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, at the local at Neptune Beach.
All
7
right.
o'clock start.
And I got driving range in about 90 minutes from now.
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
Little golf swing tuning and no baseball for me today. I do hate that.
Yeah, that stinks.
I hate opening day and the day off the next day. Doesn't make any sense to me. But,
well, I don't know. We'll see how much baseball I watch this year on TV. I tell you, when I watched the Gator-UConn game, that was the first, like from start to finish, college basketball game I watched. Any basketball game all year.
Real. Well, I believe
it was a good one to watch.
I don't
really
watch
enjoyed
many
it.
start to finish myself during the year, until the tournament comes around. But
you'll watch the whole baseball game on TV.
If it's the Yankees.
9 innings.
Only if it's the Yankees.
You're like my brother Bob does that too. Now, granted, he does it with the Cubs in the garage with about an 18-pack, but he loves
I'm not going to be like Tony's different than me. Like if 1 o'clock first pitch tomorrow, if I want to go hit a bucket of balls and I miss the first couple innings,
I got you.
You know what I mean? But if I'm home, I'll lock in for the whole 9. Good for Absolutely. All right, that'll do it for all of us. So I hope everybody out there has a great, safe, and fun weekend. Stick around for Helmets and Heels coming up live from JU. For Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thanks for listening to Jaguars Today. Back at it again on Monday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.